All right, good morning, everybody. I'm on my way to work, and I've hooked up the trailer, and I'm driving the truck with me this morning, and we are going to get a load of compost from the ECUA, which is the Escambia County Utilities Association out of Pensacola, Florida. They have a composting program down there, and they offer the compost that they gather. Well, how the program works is they go around, they gather all the yard trash from all the houses that put, the lawn clippings and leaves and limbs beside the road. They take it to the facility, they grind it up, and they compost it all down, and they add in the bacteria that they use from the sewage plant. They harvest the bacteria that died, and they incorporate that into the compost. They compost that down for a certain amount of months at a certain temperature, and it's all regulated. Well, they offer that back to the public for sale for about $10 a yard if you go get it yourself. Well, they used to have a delivery program they offered that if you bought like an 18-wheeler load of it, you could get it for like $6 a yard. But right now, I don't think they're offering any of those delivery programs because of the virus that's hit us. So I hooked up the dump trailer. We're heading out to Pensacola this morning, and after work, I'm going to run by the ECUA station, and you'll see that in a few minutes. And we're going to get a couple of yards of compost to add to our garden beds. And the reason we go down there and we get that compost is because, one, it's really cheap, and when we put that on the top of our soil, it covers our soil, which holds the moisture to the soil, and as it continues to decompose and as it rains and watering and stuff like that, it builds the texture of the soil. And so over the course of the last 3 years, we've been doing this, and our soil seems to get better and better conditioned every year. So that's why we go down there and we get this. So stay tuned, and we'll show you a little bit more about the compost. All right, so right over there is the front gate where you're going to bring in your truck. Decided to come over here and pick some of this up. Alright, so that's 2 yards. Each bucket full is a yard, and that's the building that you're going to come into whenever you want to report up here and pick up some compost. That's where you'll fill out your billing paperwork. And we'll be right back with you. Okay, we went to the compost facility in Pensacola at ECUA, and we got all our compost that we're going to use to dress these beds up. Now, the purpose of doing this is compost twofold, does two things. When you cover the top of your dirt, you're going to retain moisture in the dirt, which benefits the plant so you don't have to water as much. And moisture is always available for the plants to uptake. You never want, when you're growing vegetables, you never want your soil to get completely dried out. Now, I've been buying this compost for about 3 years, and I keep adding it to the top of my soil. If you see right here, I got some of this older compost that's right here on the top, and it's starting to break down. And if you were to rake that back, I don't turn this compost into the dirt because it just makes the dirt too airy. And whenever it gets airy, too airy, then it doesn't hold the moisture and it doesn't hold the fertilizer. So we don't want to make the soil too light and fluffy. Now, whenever I first established these beds, I put a shovel full of compost right on top like I did right here. And I brought my 19-inch wide tiller right through these beds before I put the boards down. And I incorporated this compost right into the dirt. That did give it some texture. That made it so that it doesn't compact and get hard, and the plants can send their roots as deep as they need to go. But since we've done that, all that good texture is still there in the soil. So we can take our shovel, as I've showed you in our previous video, and we could just go right into there. Well, this is really dry because we've been under drought, but when we have good moisture out here, I can put my shovel right through the middle of this soil with very little effort. And you don't want to aerate the soil too much. And I did that whenever I first established these beds. But now that we have them established, we're 3 years into it, and we've been coming back and we've been top dressing. This stuff will break down and will continue to feed top down through the soil and enrich the soil so every year we plant our plants, they get better and better. And another benefit is it makes the beds look nice too when everything is all black and dressed out. We're going around putting all this down. If you look right through here, you'll see some of this. And right over here, I did my previous video where we put the chicken manure right on top of the dirt. After the video, I didn't come back and turn it into the dirt. I finished dressing out all the beds all the way around. And we're going to pick and choose which beds we're going to turn this chicken compost into the soil. Now I've got beds that I'll be putting kohlrabi in. We're going to till those into the soil. Everything that I'm going to transplant into the garden, I probably won't be turning those into the soil. It doesn't make very much of a difference. But when you're going to direct seed, you don't want to direct seed right into compost of any type, because compost is rich in nitrates. So that'll burn the roots of the young tender plants, and you just don't want to do that whenever you're direct seeding into the compost. So like I said, we're going to pick and choose which ones based on what we're going to plant as to what we're going to incorporate into the soil. But all the beds have been topped up except for the okra bed. I haven't done away with okra because I trimmed it down and got it going. And then these Tabasco peppers over here, we haven't done anything with that bed or our asparagus bed. But we're going to get those later whenever we decide to come back and dress up those beds. So what we're doing is we're going to take this truckload of compost that we went to Pensacola and get for ECUA. It's $10 a yard, very cheap. They used to deliver for free, but they don't do that anymore. But we're going to go all the way around and we're going to dress all these beds up, and we're going to get them, that's another step closer to getting our fall garden into getting it started. We're only a week or so away from putting our transplants, our broccoli and our cauliflower and our walking tree kale or our tree kale and stuff like that into the garden and getting all that going. You'll see all these peppers around the fence. Some of these peppers are really looking good, and they're going to stay there until our first freeze kills all the peppers back. We're not going to pull those out. Those are looking good this year, and we've gotten a lot of peppers. We've frozen all the peppers we wanted. We've given peppers away to people who want and can use them, and everything's just looking good. Now, if you come over here and look at this papaya, I want to talk about this papaya real quick. The reason I put this papaya right in the corner like this is because behind me right here is the south. Directly that way is the north. And I figured that if I could put this on the south side of this bed wall, that'll kind of help protect it. This thing has gotten huge. It's overshaded our salad garden that we typically put all of our winter salads in. And I came back and I put some feed sacks down. and that kills the grass. And then I took old grass clippings and I put it right on top of that. And what that does is that retains the moisture and helps this plant grow a little more vigorous. But the plan is through the winter, once it starts turning, we're not going to be able to harvest all these and get these ripe before winter hits. But we're going to build a structure up over this, and we're going to try to preserve this papaya plant through the winter. And so that's what we got going on over here. But let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Just the compost, mostly getting the fall garden ready for the compost. And all right, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. If you find any of the information valuable and you've enjoyed watching our videos, we'd encourage you to hit the subscribe button and set the bell's notifications so that you get notified every time we bring a new topic to you. And we appreciate you watching.